The reason behind Bell House Learning to Care Dementia event is to educate people about dementia, about what it is, the symptoms, but also to empower people who are caring for or supporting someone with dementia. So today we're going to hear from 4 fabulous speakers. Firstly, we've got Alexa, who is a dementia nurse specialist for the NHS, and she's going to talk about how somebody with dementia can self-manage their own symptoms.
So dementia is essentially a word that describes the symptoms. Really what we would be advising, or is the advice, is that you avoid the use of medications as a first point of treatment. So for example, sleep, when somebody isn't sleeping, trying other strategies to encourage sleep, keeping them busy during the day. If you've tried all of those things and things are still not working, at the point that you try medications, you know that you've at least eliminated everything else that you could possibly look to, because the risk of medications, particularly medications used for sleep, is that they may increase confusion, they may lead to falls.
We've got Jolyon, who has dementia, and he's going to speak about his personal experiences living with dementia and his positive attitude to not letting dementia define who he is as a person.
I was happy to share the well, happy is not the right word, but I was very willing to share the diagnosis with members of the family, because I think it's important that these things are not hidden and don't become the proverbial elephant in the room.
And we'll finally hear from Tracy Wells, who is part of Alzheimer's Society, about the support that Alzheimer's Society and other organisations can offer to people who are supporting and caring for someone with dementia.
The Alzheimer's Society are made up of various sections or departments. They fund research projects. I mean, one of the research funded projects that the Alzheimer's Society are currently supporting is research into dementia and stigma.
But I think if you start with the idea that there's stigma attached to it, you're not starting from a very strong point that will enable you to move forward and plan your future.
And really the key that runs between all these speakers is the idea that living with and supporting someone through dementia can be really, really difficult. But there are some small ways in which you as a carer can help make it a little bit easier.
You know, so that it's not so impactful for people, so that they don't feel so much distress, because it's that distress that adds to the caregiver burden, you know, and people here have talked about feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling isolated. Those are the experiences of carers. So this is an opportunity for them to not only hear this information, but sit in a room with their peers, you know, people who are experiencing this too, and know that they're not alone, you know.
I think my start point would be, I am who I am, and I'm not going to allow this disease to define who I am. I will always be who I am, but I have to accept that the disease itself is going to have an impact on the way I live my life.
Ultimately, and this is probably something that doesn't get talked about for whatever reason, is that a dementia, a disease in the disease in the brain, is a terminal illness. So people are ultimately going to die from these diseases.
But having said that, talking to people, finding out the services available, getting contacts with my co-speakers today has given me, you know, encouragement that it is possible to live this life in a way that acknowledges the presence of the disease. There's no point in denying it, but live for the moment and get out there.